Hey everybody, welcome back to another Inside the Stash. We're going to take a look at some things that have come in recently, and there's a few things here. Actually, this video is going to be split into two parts, so there'll be an episode 2, fairly quickly followed by an episode 3. The episode 3 will be strictly a Hobby Link Japan box, and this one is going to be some stuff we've gotten off of a couple of new vendors that we're going to talk about, and we are making progress on the NSX. I've gotten the very beginnings of the chassis coming together, so there we are working on a model. I know some people will be like, "Oh, all he ever does is just show stuff he's bought and never works on anything." But that'll be another update for another day as far as that goes. But like I said, we're not up on wheels yet by a stretch of the imagination, but we are we're getting to the point where we could be up on wheels shortly. So our new vendors that we've been playing around with, we've ordered some stuff and got some stuff yesterday from Spot Model. Now, they're a company, an online vendor out of Spain. They are pretty much the only place that is going to be, so far, carrying I'm going to guess that because the way people overseas pronounce it as decal instead of decal, that it's decal costs, rather than being like decal casts. But that's another Spanish decal company that is going to be doing at least 4 sets of decals for the M3 to start off with. The first 2 sets are available now. One is the one we got, and then there's one for the Camel rally car that is representative of actually 4 different rallies that were run in Spain. And then the reason why I actually put the order in right now was because I was going through there and I noticed that they happen to have one of the BMAX TA64 Celica rally cars from the mid-1980s. It is a kit that I did not buy originally when the kit came out, and then by the time I sort of got around to warming up to the idea of getting one, they were sold out everywhere and you couldn't find any. And so I found that they had one in stock, and it was the shelf price. It wasn't jacked up eBay price or whatever. And so I put an order in for it, and as you would figure, as soon as I put an order in for it, 2 days later, Hobby Easy, our preferred Hong Kong vendor, they got a restock of it in. So I guess the only loss, if it were, as it were, was to me in the sense of shipping, as it is a little cheaper to ship out of Hong Kong than it is Spain. Anybody who's done some overseas shipping out of Europe knows how expensive that has become as of recently, which isn't necessarily Spot Model or anybody else's fault. It's just the way of the world. I forgot most people figured out by now. I work in the transportation department at the Postal Service as a contractor, and I see what people are paying to ship stuff. And our shipping isn't much cheaper anymore compared to overseas stuff. So, at any rate, I will give Spot Model 2 thumbs up as far as the order I put in is concerned. They have their own boxes with their own logos on it, which is kind of neat. You don't see a lot of vendors with that. Hobby Link Japan comes to mind as being one of the only places I know of that has their own boxes, like Hobby Search and other things like that. They just have cardboard boxes that they use, but these are emblazoned with their little Spot Model logo. Packing was reasonably well. The only sort of downside, if you want to call it about shipping from them, is Spanish Postal Service is a lot like the UPS is in terms of shipping something to Canada. Any people here who have shipped stuff to your Canadian friends, or anybody who lives in Canada who's been waiting on a package from somebody in the United States, be it eBay or whatever, knows that unless you send something priority international, the regular priority mail or regular parcel post or parcel select or whatever they call it these days stops tracking at the Canadian border. When it crosses that international line, the U.S. Postal Service tracking for it ceases to function, and it doesn't work. And people in Canada can't track their packages past the Canadian border. Here in the United States, you can't track the package once it goes past the Canadian border either. And so the Spanish Postal Service is similar. I could track it via the Spanish Postal Service up till it got to the international airport, and once it boarded its flight for the United States, I lost the ability to track it, which was not a problem because obviously I got it. But if you consider ordering something from Spot Model, be aware of that. Many European postal services are like that. I'm currently waiting on something from that U.S. What is it? USCP or something like that, the Ukrainian Misha and the Ukrainian resin stuff. And like I said, same deal. I could track it in the Ukraine until it got to the airport, and once it went into international, it's gone, and it'll get here sooner or later. But I can't track it. It's kind of annoying. You would think once it got here in the United States, it would attach itself to the tracking system, and you could track it, but it doesn't. So, from my perspective, I had to actually go into my multi-system tracker. I have a logistics app that'll track pretty much anything: postal service, DHL, UPS, everything. And I've had to, I had to mark the Spanish thing as delivered because, as far as it's concerned, it doesn't exist anymore once it left Spain. So, speaking of spot model, another cool little thing, they sent a shop card, for lack of a better term, and that's pretty much this little Porsche 911 GT3 is what their logo for their boxes is, except it's coming the other direction, so you get the front three-quarter profile instead of just this rear three-quarter. So this is very cool. I admit I'm not a shop card collector. I haven't really chased anybody down for shop cards. I don't have any shop cards. Similar to the Lazy Eye Modeler, I just can't come up with a design for one that's sort of pertinent to everything that we do here. We've sort of split out the programming a little bit, where the models that I'm building are their own thing, and of course the stash report is its own thing. And then this stuff, the Inside the Stash videos, aside from just being stuff that's going to come in, these videos will eventually be where anything that's sort of outside the realm of either of the other things will fit. Like if I need to go off on a tangent about something that isn't germane to a kit release or something like that, I can't come up with anything right now because I'm actually in a fairly decent mood. But should I need to rant about something, it would fall into the Inside the Stash thing, because it's just sort of, inside my little world. I want to try to keep that stuff out of the stash report stuff, because that's, more of a news show, as it were. And then, of course, I don't want to be like, oh, hey, I'm building this NSX, and you know what else pisses me off? Because that makes it sound like the NSX pisses me off. So anyway, shop card, first shop card. Woo! What you can't see is over here is where my bench is, and I build on a table that sort of floats in the middle of my basement between all my shelves. And so I have no place to put this, so it may end up going like over back here someplace. So anyway, that was still, I said, cool, just for a little freebie. We got two sets of the first set of decals that Decals is doing here, and this is the Johnny Player Special Team that ran two different races within the Australian Touring Car Championship Series in 1987. It won. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where my fingers are here. It won the Lakeside race, and then they also won the didn't win, but it actually also ran this Bathurst 1,000 kilometer race as well. This car itself is a pretty famous car within the M3 racing community. It's on that one poster that company put together of like the 25 most famous M3 race cars. Very excited to get this one started once SK Decals comes out with these BBS wheels. Because right now these wheels as shown to you here are not the wheels in the kit. I will say these decals are very, very good, very, very nice. I'm not gonna take it out of the package because trying to get it back in was a pain in the tocus. But you see here that all this stuff is very gold, gold foil basically, and that's the way the decals are. They're done by Cartograph, so the quality is good. It's actually some of the nicest decals I've seen in terms of representing a gold. It's not like a metallic brown. It's not like a metallic yellow. It's literally gold foil. It's that hot foil stuff, similar to the way the liquid chrome markers are hot foil chrome. This is the same principle, only in gold. So so someday they go ahead and put that chrome, this gold out in a marker. But I got two sets because the one car, the sponsorships and the design are basically the same, but the cars have different numbers. And actually the cars are white numbered on one car and gold foil on the other, so it's kind of cool. And then on the back here you see the other decal sets that they're going to be doing for the M3. You have this camel one that ran some, like I said, a bunch of local Spanish rallies. This set of decals is available. And then coming at some point, and there's no release date of it yet, this is a Jägermeister DTM car, and then the Tic Tac sponsored DTM car, which of course also needs the same BBS wheels as this one does. So very, very, very nice and very cool decals. Again, like I said, they're gold foil. It just period, end of story. Like I said, I would take them out and show them to you, but then I'd have to try to get them back in here, and I got the instructions stuck to the little resealable bag there at one point. So the kit we got, we already had mentioned, is the Toyota TA64 Celica 85 Safari Rally winner. We talked about this when the kit was released last year, that if you want to build this as the Kenya Safari Rally, you have to go get the supplemental decals either from Autocolor, which of course is the company that BMAX owns that does their decals, or from Taboo Graphics to add the Marlboro logos that go at the top of the number boards. Basically, there's a little Marlboro logo that goes right here. I'm going to be building this as a different rally car from, it's going to be Marlboro sponsored as well, and it's going to be red and white, but the pattern's going to be a little bit different, and it's going to be a completely different rally. Very cool kit, though. Like I said, happy to have it, and if you happen to want one, hobbyeasy.com is going to be where you can find them, because Hobby Search and Hobby Japan don't have any. I don't know if they're going to get restocked with it or not, but I know that, like I said, Hobby Easy just got a restock, and, you know, remember, BMAX is Macau, Hong Kong, China, it's all the same thing, so they're going to get it before anybody else would anyway. So the other vendor that we've been playing around with is sort of a third-party provider, if you will. It's a company called Bai. They're out of Japan, and basically, it's sort of like, I know there's another company called Japamart, which to me seems vaguely inappropriate, but since it's run by Japanese people, they can call it whatever they want to. And basically what it is are not so much proxy bidding, because that's a completely different thing as far as I'm concerned, but a purchasing service out of Japan that functions on Yahoo Japan auctions and a few other sites. Rakuten, you can get it for Amazon Japan as well if you want to install a couple pieces of programming. And what it allows you to do is bid on Japanese Yahoo auctions. Now, that stuff's all in Japanese. They do, you know, there's a machine translation available, and Google Translate becomes your friend in the sense of, like, trying to figure out what things are by their sort of Japanese name rather than trying to search by their English name, if you will. Like, searching for Nissan SEMA in English gets you a different set of results than searching for Nissan SEMA translated into Japanese will. Because obviously the people using Yahoo Japan auctions are Japanese people. And this is where Bai comes in, where most people who sell on Yahoo Japan auctions will not ship out of the country. And so Bai basically functions as a repackage and reshipper, if you will. You know, now there are fees involved. There are a purchase fee. You know, Bai takes a fee for providing a service. You can buy basically what amounts to in-country insurance, so if something gets damaged in the Japanese postal or messaging system and gets destroyed, you're not, well, liable, but you don't have to pay for it, basically. And then there's, when you ship things together, when you combine it together, because obviously much like anything else, like HobbyLink Japan, Hobby Search, the more you buy, the cheaper it is to ship things. The one thing I see getting people who are new to the service is when you ship your stuff from Japan to the United States, that's also when they ding you for the shipping in country, right? Some people are like, well, they're double charging me for shipping. They're double charging me for shipping. Well, they're not. They just don't charge you for the shipping on the actual auction until you ship it to yourself. Because Japan is not like the United States as far as shipping stuff goes. There are probably 5, 8, 10 Japanese package and messenger services in addition to the Japan Post, which is the official Japanese postal service. So they can't really charge you for the shipping when you win the auction, because they don't know how much it's going to cost to ship it. Because shipping with a messenger service, like if you're going to use postal mates, which is like people who drive their car around and do local postal work in like the major cities. That's all dependent on the size of the package, where it's coming from, where it's going, and stuff like that. So you have to sort of factor that in when you're doing shipping. Your shipping does eventually end up being basically twice as much as it would be, because you're having to pay for the in-country shipping. But if you buy something from eBay, you're paying the shipping anyway. So it just is what it is in that sense. But as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the better places to get vintage, if you will, Japanese model kits. I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff here, and like I said, you can determine how vintage any of this stuff actually is. It's mostly stuff from the late 80s, mid 90s that I've been trying to acquire for a while, but is either not available on eBay or the eBay prices are astronomically ridiculous. So I'm going to spin the camera this way so I don't have to keep holding things in front of my face and muffling the mic, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so we're going to run you past a bunch of kits here real quick. I'll give you a brief little history, but I'm not trying to spend too much time here. This is a Fujimi R33 GTR. It suffers the same problem that all Fujimi GTRs have, in the sense that it is rear-wheel drive and not all-wheel drive chassis, and it's sort of like a one-piece generic chassis. There's one piece in the sense of everything, a lot of the stuff molded in, like the transaxle and the exhaust and stuff like that. Not one piece in the sense of like it's motorized or anything else like that. This represents the Kansei Service HKS tuner version of this kit, if you will. You don't get these wheels that are on the box art in the box. You get a set that I like actually better. But that is a Fujimi trait. Much like the seats molded to the floor thing, not getting the wheels that are on the box art is another thing Fujimi has a problem with, and have had for, ever since I've known about Fujimi. A great example of that is anybody who's tried to buy one of those Mugen DC2 Integras. You don't get the Mugen wheels with it. You just get the regular Integra wheels that are coming in the factory stock Integra Type R kit. So, like I said, you don't get these wheels, but like I said, I like the wheels better anyway. This is one of those kits that always seems to run like $40, $50 on eBay, and like the box price on it is $2,400. You can see this thing still has the sticker on it from whatever hobby shop it came out of in Japan for 1,920 yen, which runs at about $17.50, maybe actually $16.80 or so. I paid right about that, 16 bucks for it, minus the shipping. I'm gonna give you a little shot of the decals that come with it, and it's, like I said, it's a curbside, real basic curbside, but I have a bunch of other HKS Kansai stuff, and so this was more of a spontaneous purchase than anything else. I was like, oh, look, that matches some stuff I have. I have one other GTR in this shipment, and that is the Mines NER Spec R32. I like this because you actually get these wheels. You don't have a lot of the Mines logoing with this. Obviously, it's a Mines kit. It's got the big Mines signature on it. But other than one little Mines sticker, it doesn't have anything else. There's like a little NER Spec sticker right above the headlight here. And that's pretty much it. This doesn't have all of the signature Mines logos that all the other kits do. And there's another R32. There's, two R33s, an Evo 5, or Evo 7, an Evo 6, a Stasia Autech, and of course the R34 Aoshima kit, and there was an R35 trans kit from I believe Hobby Design at one point, but that's so long out of production. Good luck finding one. So like I said, it's a cool little kit, and like I said, I just like the fact that it's a Mines car. This is really one of the original Mines cars, but before it got to be such an advertising car and having the Mines stuff all over it. But it's also one of the only NER Spec GTR kits I'm aware that Fujimi made. It does have, like I said, the Fujimi rear-wheel drive chassis and stuff like that. But, I have a bunch of R32 Fujimi kits, and I don't have a NER Spec from them. I have, a bunch of different varying things, but not a NER Spec one. And I don't know, in terms of other kits, whether or not there really was another NER Spec. I mean, there must have been at some point. At some point, in some place, there's just a factory stock NER Spec that's not a Mines logoed one. But that's very cool because, while I don't necessarily collect the Mines stuff per se, it's something fun to have. I picked this up because I'd never seen this kit before. This is obviously a Subaru Impreza. When it says 20S, it's a 2.0S. This is a Uber base model Impreza. Somebody who I'm friends with who fancies himself a Subaru expert says this kit is wrong in several dimensions. I say I couldn't give two flips because it doesn't look like the WRX STI that this same kit is made out of. So that works for me. You get these pretty much the same wheels that are in the kit as far as the box art goes. Another Fujimi kit, very, very basic curbside. If you have the 2003 Impreza WRX kits, basically what's in here. Other than this, I mean, like I said, a bunch of down trim base model stuff applied to it. Be interesting, you know, if it had an engine in it and it had different intake and stuff like that it would have in real life, but it's not that kind of kit. Let's see here. We got a lot of people were all like, "Oh my God, you got a Midnight Star." Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Midnight Star. I'm pretty sure that's what this series was called. They put a bunch of different stuff in this series, but I bought it because this is a Y32 generation Nissan Silvia. The 731S Impal that just came out of Aoshima, this is an Aoshima kit, by the way, is the Y31. This is the Y32. The Y32 was on a slightly different chassis at that point, and so this doesn't have the same motorized chassis in it that the Y31 does. It's a more modern chassis. Still a lot of stuff molded into it. You get a set of Ewing reverse wheels in here and a spoiler and ground effects and stuff like that. But much like the 731S, which we'll talk about in the other video, we go through a Hobby Link Japan box. Yeah, I'm going to build this pretty much factory stock with the wheels that come in here because I like the wheels, but I don't necessarily care for all the ground effects. And, you know, some people will go, "Oh my God, you bought a kit and didn't use the parts for it." That reminds us of another person we know who does that with a lot of Japanese kits. But again, I said it was a matter of the fact that this was the kit I was looking for. I liked the extra wheels that come with it, and it was way cheaper than the factory stock SEMA is for some reason. So that's there. And then in this first box, I also got a couple of minivans. This one is the Nissan Elgrand X. This is the 8-passenger 4-wheel drive version. There's a 2-wheel drive version, and there's a Nismo version, at least. Just a factory stock Fujimi kit. All the seats are molded to the floor in the interior, all 3 rows of it. But it goes along with the same era Toyota Alphard van that I have, and then, of course, the new Velfire Alphard van that came out of Fujimi last month. So, you know, again, just one of those kits that I saw. I wanted an Elgrand for a while because, like I said, I have the Toyota Alphard 2003-ish model as well, and I wanted this to go with it because it's the other full-size Japanese van that was made, and I went to order one, and they were all gone. They'd been discontinued, so I think I paid like $13 for this or something like that. It was some really, really ridiculously cheap price. I couldn't pass that up, even if I wanted to. And then a kit I actually went looking for. Alright, so once you get your camera restabilized, the kit I actually went looking for. This is an Aoshima kit. It is the Toyota Light Ace Noah. I don't believe you'll be able to fit all your animals in here 2x2, but you can fit like 5 or 7 passengers. I'm not sure what the seating capacity is. Everything's in Japanese on the box. I saw somebody on Facebook come up with one of these in the United States, and it was a van that I didn't realize that was made. It is very much just a a static display model in the most traditional curbside sense. It's maybe, I don't know, 60 parts or so, but it is such an off-the-wall Japanese kit that I had to have one. And I went searching on eBay, and Fujimi made this kit basically because they wanted to make the tuner van series, the VIP vans, out of this. And so this production of the very basic factory stock one was very limited in the sense that I don't think it's been reissued since this original boxing of it in the mid-1990s. But you know what? I wanted it because it's just so, like I said, just off the wall. It's not, it's such a bland base model kit. I had to have it. So there's that. That's one box of Bai stuff, and then we got a second one. So let's roll through this one real quick. I got Fujimi Nissan Cefiro Wagon. This is the Cruising G version. Yo, G, we are cruising in my wagon. There is like a European front version of this. I believe there's a taxi version of this, a fire version of this, and a couple other. They made like 5 or 6 of these. They're not hard to find. I think I paid $12 for this. So it's a very common kit. I'm not even sure what the shelf price for this is. I don't see a yen price, but it's probably $15 is what it was new back in. It doesn't have a date on it. 1993. But this kit shares a chassis and an interior with their later Gloria Cedric kits. It literally has a extension on it, so you don't get a basically you don't get a package area back here in the wagon. You have like a one of those privacy shades that would go over the back here, and that's how they deal with the back half of the wagon and it being just like being a sedan interior basically. It's kind of interesting. They never made a Cefiro as far as the sedan goes, but they made a wagon version of it. But this will look good with a regular Nissan Stagea. And it's just a cool wagon. You can never have too many wagons, especially Japanese ones, since they're pretty much the only people that make modern station wagons. I have here a slightly banged up box, but the kit inside is minty fresh. This is a new trend 1991 Y32 Nissan Gloria Gran Turismo Ultima. Very, very basic mid-size Japanese car. Nothing really too exciting about it, although the box art's kind of cool. It's just a just a mid-size Nissan sedan, and this kit is kind of cool because it comes with a set of photo etched frets with the Nissan logos and the Gloria, and there's also a Cedric logo on there. I see that sort of gives you a hint that there's a Cedric version of this, it's nice because if the decals are shot in here, which they're not, but the place that the box has seen some better days. You have the photo etch to go with instead of worrying about the decals for the logos. A kit I've been searching for a really long time. Didn't want to pay the eBay prices of $40, $50, $60. So instead I paid like $18. What really sad about this is this box has a $13 shelf price on it. So sometimes those eBay values are a little skewed, if you will. That's what makes the whole buyee experience quite entertaining, because even with shipping, I didn't pay that much for it, as much as they want to charge for it. This is a 1997 Honda Orthia. It's sort of a quasi-station wagon, quasi-SUV type of thing. It's, it's a little beefier than a regular station wagon. There's a second one of these as a green car on the box art. It's a slightly different trim because of a different set of wheels. I've come to a point in my life now where I have so much stuff that I didn't buy both of them, even though I could have, just because I'll never get to both of them. I'll probably never build this one, but I have it now. There's always that part. This is an Aoshima kit. It gives you a little idea. It's sort of like maybe like a sort of a Subaru Forester kind of thing, where it's a little more sporty, outdoorsy kind of vehicle rather than just being a regular station wagon. It's four-wheel drive rather than just being all-wheel drive. And the great part is, like I said, these things are like $45, the cheapest one I've ever seen on eBay. And this has a clearance price sticker for 9-10 yen, which is like, I don't know, $7 or so. One thing you find out very quickly by searching through actual Japanese listings is all the stuff that you think you can't find in the United States because it's out of production, it's rare and impossible to find, has been sitting on the shelf, lingering and dying over in Japan. Much like the Japanese want a lot of our common kits because they, can't get stuff over there very easily. And it's stuff that we go like, well, that's like a $5 kit. What do you want that for? Because I can't get a hold of one. Why do I want this? Well, this is like a $5 kit. Well, I can't get a hold of it. This is a Y33, obviously, designated up here in the corner. Nissan Gloria Gran Turismo Aero package. There's a little bit of ground effects in here. There's a Aero package version of the Cedric Y33 as well. I didn't go for that because I managed to find a Aoshima Y33 Cedric, so I went with that instead. Like I said, this has the same chassis and the same interior as the Cefiro wagon does. I don't know how technically correct that is in a prototypical sense. But it's got like BBS wheels, or actually I don't think they're BBS wheels, they might be the Ewing wheels again, but it's just a cool kit. Again, very much a basic Japanese sedan. They are BBS wheels. It says right here on the side that they're BBS wheels. But, it shows you the aero parts. You get like a new front bumper and some side skirts and a spoiler. And I'll probably build this one exactly like that. I kind of like this. I like this ground effects package. It's very mild and minimal. And here, in a very, very old box that has really seen some better days, but everything inside, again, minty clean, This is a new trend 91 Nissan Cedric Y32. This is just again, this is the twin to the other one, basically. You know, there's the Gloria and the Cedric. They're very, very, very close to each other as far as what they look like. Different wheels, different grills, some very minor differences in interior and stuff like that, but more or less it's the same thing. And this kit, much like the other one, comes with the photo etch. So the decals in here really are pretty rough. I'll probably try to put some decal sealant on like the gauge cluster and roll with the photo etch for everything else, because there really isn't much else in decals in here anyway. But again, very cool to have. Again, not a very expensive kit on by E, but you know, good luck trying to find one otherwise. I think that's got a clearance sticker on it for like $9. And then we got two more kits in here, and we'll let you go. First up, we got this, which is the Lancia Stratos from Fujimi. This is an Enthusiast Series model. Some people will debate the Enthusiast Series nature of this kit, being that the actual body, interior, chassis, and stuff for the Lancia was tooled up in the early 1990s, maybe in the mid 1990s, and it has the engine, drivetrain, and stuff like that correctly out of one of the Fujimi Dinos. It has the drivetrain of the Dino 246, not a Ferrari Dino. And so that the engine, everything like that, is very, 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 very detailed. You know, the 90,000 part engine and all that stuff. The molding and engraving and stuff like that on the Stratos is not as clean, not as crisp, not as quite as well detailed per se. But it's also not that much of the kit. You know, the kit, there's probably only about 40 parts to the kit that are newly tooled to make this into the Stratos. It's basically, I said, the body and the interior and some of the chassis parts, and the rest of everything else belongs to the Dino, which, you know, is a 1980s Enthusiast Series kit. These gold wheels are molded in white, so if you want to make them gold, that's your problem, not theirs. This kit comes with this weird Chardonnay, Team Chardonnay sponsor livery tribute rally thing going on here. But this kit inside here is a factory stock Lancia Stratos Strasdale, which is the production version, the street version, that they had to make to meet the homogenization rules for the rally car. This isn't a rally car. There's not a roll cage in here. There's no night lights. There's nothing different about this kit, and perhaps one of the regular street car versions that you may have seen in the past, other than the decals. And the decals in here are probably the worst decals of the bunch of these kits that I'm showing you, but I'm not going to use them, so I don't care. Basically, I want to save the Lancia logos for the wheels, and there's a very large dashboard decal. And that's it. Pretty much everything else is just going out the window because I really don't much care. I'll give you some nice real car reference shots on the side here, and you notice it's the real car reference shots of just a street car, not the actual rally car, because it's not a rally car. It's a street car, and that's pretty much. Let's see if we can get up close on this. Here's your weird little Monte Carlo themed rally decals that are not a Monte Carlo rally. They're just Stratos. So I want to save, let's see, bring it back this way. I want to save this thing right here, which is this instrument panel gauge, and then I'll save these four little dots right here, which, like I said, are the Lancia logos for the wheels. If I can save those four decals, the rest of the sheet can go in the trash as far as I'm concerned. Don't really care. Last but not least, one of the kits I've really been looking for a long time, mainly because I got totally jacked and screwed by HobbyLink Japan in ordering this. I had what I call the Summer of Nissan about 3 years ago. I bought just a whole plethora of GTR kits. Really, when I started really seriously expanding my collection of kits that shall be built one day, but we all know it's not really going to happen. But that doesn't mean that we don't like to think it will happen. This is a S15 Nissan Silvia Spec R Aero. There's another Spec R Aero that has a red car on the box art, but it does not come with the TE37 wheels. It also does not come with what they call this super detail set, which is some metal transfers for the mirrors and a whole big. It's about the size of a deck of cards, of photo etch that includes some vents for the front and your brake, sort of some disc brake covers and stuff like that. There we go. I went out of focus. This has the adjustable suspension that all the Silvias does, where it rides on the springs and screws, so you can adjust the suspension and lower the ride height that way rather than fiddling with chopping up struts and stuff like that, which is always nice, assuming you know how to use it. You don't crank the living bejesus out of it like I see some people do with the adjustable suspension kits. But I ordered this during my summer of Nissan, and about 8 months went by, and I got an email from Hobby Japan saying the kit had been discontinued, and sorry, you're SOL, and best of luck to you in the future. Now I have one Spec R S15 kit, but it has a much different ground effects package. It has just like the factory stock Silvia wheels. And so, like I said, I really wanted this because if you guys haven't figured this out yet, I'm very, very picky as to how my cars look. I really am not a big fan of the whole slambering thing. I'm not a big fan of goofy body kits and things like that. So for me to find an aero kit, ground effects kit that I like is kind of rare. And like I said, I've been looking and looking and looking and looking, and finally I found one for a nice price. This is a shelf price, like $28, and about what I paid for it. So I was very happy to have that come across the transom. That was very cool. There's another shot of the included super detail pieces. So, like I said, very, very happy to have that one. All right, guys, so that'll do it for this one. Like I said, we'll have another one up pretty soon. Hopefully by the time the weekend rolls around for the other Hobby Link Japan box. And anyway, hope you enjoyed seeing the treasures that I found in Japan for my stash project, as it were. Anyway, guys, we'll see you on the other side.